And now for our last example with solving quadratic equations. Once again, remember in standard form, a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And everything has to be in standard form before we can start factoring to try and solve. So let's write this one out. We've got 16m squared plus 24m equals -9. So first of all, this is not in standard form. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the 9 to both sides. So I get 16m squared plus 24m plus 9 equals 0. Now I'm going to get out my factoring rule sheet. Again, I'm only looking at this stuff. I pretend the 0 isn't there, and I just do factoring exactly like I've learned. And then we just remember that the 0 is there and I'm actually solving. So rule number 1, any greatest common factor. Nope, there isn't any. Looks like 4, but I can't get 4 out of 9. Looks like 3, but I can't get 3 out of 16. There's not an m on the, so no greatest common factor. Rule number 2, is it a special factoring form? Well, I'm not exactly sure. First question in when I'm asking about whether it's a special factoring form or not, I'm only looking to see, is it a difference of squares or a perfect square trinomial? Trinomial, remember, a difference of squares. Okay. Sorry, guys. It doesn't want to cooperate with me at the moment. A difference of squares starts looking like something x squared minus y squared, and it goes into x plus y, x minus y. Well, that's only a binomial. This is a trinomial. So what we are working with is a trinomial. So maybe that is a perfect square trinomial. Remember, in a perfect square trinomial, it's going to look like something like x squared plus or minus one or the other, not both, 2 times x times y plus y squared. And it goes into x, again, plus or minus whatever this one is, not both of them, y, the quantity squared. Okay? So, if this is a perfect square trinomial, what is the even square root of 16m squared? Well, that would be 4m. And the even square root then of the 9, that's the other one I have to look at. Well, the square root of 9 is 3. Now remember, unlike a difference of squares, where I'm done now, I have to still make sure it works for my middle term. My middle term is a 2 times an x times a y. Well, that's 2 times my x is 4m, and my y is 3. Well, 2 times 4m is 8m, times 3 is 24m. That's what this is. So this indeed is a perfect square trinomial. Now, how many answers am I looking for? Well, 2. That's what tells me the highest exponent. Except if this is a perfect square trinomial, I'm looking for one less than that. So in this case, 1. So this goes into 4m plus, because this guy's plus, 3, the quantity squared, equals 0. Well, in actuality, that is 4m plus 3 times 4m plus 3 equals 0, but these are both exactly the same, so I only need to do them one time. 4m plus 3, which is why I only get one answer instead of 2. So first subtract the 3, and I get negative 3, and then divide by 4. Let's just check this one. It's good if you check them all, but as long as we do once in a while, there will be some things that we have to check all the time, and I'll tell you when those come up. And remember, we have to check it in the original equation. So 16 times negative 3/4 squared plus 24 times negative 3/4 equals negative 9. First thing I have to do, order of operations, guys, remember, is square this guy. So that's 16. Negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 4 is 16. Positive times a negative is going to be a negative. Let's get rid of this guy. Okay, positive times a negative is a negative, and I can cross cancel these. 4 goes into itself once and into that 6 times, so that's 18 equals negative 9. Again, I can cross cancel these because remember this is like multiplying times 16 over 1. So that's 1, and I end up with 9 minus 18 equals negative 9. And 9 minus 18 is negative 9, negative 9. So that means that our final answer of m equals negative 3/4 is correct. And there are your examples for how to solve equations using the zero factor property.